Have you ever felt like you're just kind of reacting to life instead of really directing it? You know, you got
Yeah.
these big dreams, but actually making them happen consistently, well, it feels a bit like trying to catch smoke, doesn't it? What if there was a more uh, systematic way, a
Yeah.
way to really grab the controls and like design your everyday life, not just your big picture goals?
Yeah, that's the core question, isn't it? And it's exactly what the bold achievement method, or BAM, really dives into. So our deep dive today is all about this framework. It's from Bronkar and Cyndi Lee, and it basically offers this solid roadmap for actively, mastering your life's journey, not just letting it happen to you.
Right. And our goal here for you listening is to pull out the really impactful bits from BAM, the actionable stuff. We want to give you a genuine shortcut, not just to the what to do, but maybe more importantly, the why and the how behind making those intentional choices, hitting those big goals, and really owning your story. It's quite a mix, actually, very practical steps, but also some surprisingly deep philosophical ideas woven in. Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. Let's start with the core philosophy of BAM. What's at the heart of it? It seems to be saying, look, you have the power, like inherently, to create your own story. It's about knowing who you really are authentically, right? Because owning that seems to be the launch pad for going after what you want, getting past the surface stuff.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how they frame our lives. They say it's just a long string of choices. That sounds simple, but it's actually really empowering. It kind of echoes Shakespeare, all the world's a stage. But with a twist, you're not just a player reading lines someone else wrote. You're the playwright, the director.
Hmm.
You're shaping the whole thing. It flips it from being passive to being, active creation. Like Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Bam argues that you choose that adventure. Your attitude, your passions, your focus, they're all choices.
That idea of choice as the driver is, yeah, it's powerful. And building on that, there's this principle they mentioned that really stuck with me. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Hmm.
It's not just about, say, your morning routine, though that's part of it. It suggests that those small, consistent choices, how you handle one thing, kind of ripple out, right? They define your whole approach, like compound interest for habits.
Precisely. And the bold achievement method, it isn't just theory, it's very structured. It's an actionable roadmap. They break the whole process down into 6 clear components. It's designed to guide you step by step. Okay, so they are 1, wake up your mind. 2, shake up your thinking. 3, round up your crew. 4 is set up your space. 5, get up and go. And the last one, number 6, is show up and rock it.
Okay, 6 components. Let's dive into that first one then. Wake up your mind. What does that actually mean in practice? Waking up your mind, what kind of clarity are we aiming for? Because clarity can be a bit vague.
That's a fair point. It's about achieving this really deep, unfiltered clarity. It's the foundation. BAM points to 5 specific areas you need clarity on. First, there's the now. And this isn't just, passive mindfulness. It's actively accepting where you are right now without judgment. Because that's your only starting point, isn't it? You have to really feel it, even the uncomfortable bits, rather than trying to ignore them or judge them. Only from that honest place can you move to gratitude and actually start to, as they put it, sculpt yourself into the human you want to be.
Okay, so accepting the now. What's next?
Second is the intentions. This means getting really specific about what success looks like for you, not just vague dreams. The clearer, the more coherent you are about your destination, the faster you likely get there. And crucially, you need to nail down your why. Why does this matter to you? That's your anchor. Third, the motivations. This is your internal engine, what really drives you deep down, because that deep intrinsic motivation, that dictates how easily you'll give up when things get tough. It has to come from within.
Right, the internal drive versus just external rewards. Makes sense.
Fourth, you've got to identify the obstacles, name them, write them down. When you do that, they stop being these big, scary monsters in the closet and become, problems you can actually plan to overcome. They lose some power. And finally, number 5, the deadlines. This one's interesting. They say treat your personal goals like you treat work deadlines. With the same seriousness. We often put external demands first, don't we? BAM says, flip that. Give your own goals that same urgency.
That deadline point really hits home. It's so easy to let personal projects slide when work calls. How do they suggest we actually do that? Give our goals the same weight.
Well, it starts with recognizing that tendency, that internal resistance, and then consciously deciding your personal goals are just as important. And a really practical tip they offer for Cultivating all this clarity across all 5 points is journaling, just consistently writing things down. The act of putting thoughts, intentions, obstacles on paper, it just helps solidify everything, turns fuzzy ideas into something concrete.
Okay, so journaling helps get that clarity. But like you say, clarity isn't always enough if your basic mindset is, working against you. Which leads us right into component number 2, shake up your thinking. This sounds like it's all about perspective shifts. Reminds me of that Eleanor Roosevelt quote, "You can often change your circumstances by changing your attitude."
Exactly. It's about being willing to question your current view of things, right? Because real growth often means shifting how you see the world, how you see yourself. BAM suggests 3 really critical perspective shifts. First, succeed by failing. Now, that sounds backwards, but think about it. They say our biggest leaps are often made after our greatest failures. Or every time you fall, it's one less fall before you master that trick. Every mistake, every failure isn't just a setback. It's data. It's valuable information you couldn't get any other way.
Okay, reframing failure as data. I like that. What's the second shift?
Second, think like a baby. Seriously. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall down constantly. Do they quit?
Huh? No, definitely not. They just get back up.
Yeah.
Again and again.
Right. They have this insane persistence, this constant curiosity. They're always learning, totally unfazed by falling down, just driven to figure it out. BAM says we need to tap back into that innate drive. And the third shift is create your new identity. This isn't just positive thinking. It's actively creating a you 2.0 or 3.0. You visualize this wiser, happier, more confident future version of yourself, and then you start acting in line with that vision today.
That you 2.0 idea is intriguing, but it makes me think, how much of who we are is just us versus who we're around? Which brings us nicely to component 3, round up your crew. Is this about, ditching friends who aren't supportive? Or is it more nuanced?
That's a great question. And yeah, it's nuanced. BAM definitely emphasizes that idea. The people you surround yourselves around is the person who you become. Our social environment is huge. So while, yes, it might involve seeking out new people who lift you up, it's also about being really intentional with all your relationships. The key is to cultivate a support crew. Friends, maybe colleagues, mentors, even just cheerleaders who do more than just offer sympathy. You need people who actively encourage you, inspire you, maybe give you a nudge when you need it, push you a bit, keep you motivated, and importantly, hold you accountable. It's about building a team for your growth.
A growth team. I like that. Okay, so you've got your mindset shifting, your crew assembled. What about the environment? Component 4 is set up your space. How does our physical space play into this?
Well, this connects to that idea of vulnerability. They quote Dr. Brené Brown, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change." Quaddy. So BAM says you need to create your own Zen zone. And look, this doesn't mean you need a fancy meditation room. It's about intentionally designing your environment, physical and mental, to feel safe enough for that vulnerability. It could be a clean desk in a quiet corner. It could be carving out specific, protected time, or maybe rituals that tell your brain, okay, now is focus time. The goal is minimal distractions and maximum psychological safety so you can actually think, create, and make progress without inhibition.
Okay, that makes sense, creating that safe container. And then, once the mind, the thinking, the crew, the space are all aligned, then comes the action part, right? Component 5, get up and go. This feels like the real pivot point. Like Amelia Earhart said, the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity.
That quote nails it. Because, as BAM points out, we naturally cling to what's familiar, what's comfortable. Clinging to the normal is our way of coping, but it's not how we grow. Growth means stepping out of that comfort zone. And it comes down to realizing, look, everyone gets the same 24 hours, the same minutes in a day. The difference is how you design that time, how you become the architect for your efforts, as they say. This means intentional scheduling, sure, but also maybe multi-purposing tasks cleverly, and definitely clearing out clutter, physical clutter, mental clutter, maybe even relationship clutter. It's like a spring cleaning for your whole life to make space for action. Because ultimately our habits, the things we do repeatedly, they find and shape us. So you need habits that actually serve your goals.
Right, building those intentional habits.
Okay.
Okay, which leads us to the final component, number 6, show up and rock it. This sounds less like a step and more like the ongoing result.
Wow. It absolutely is. Show up and rock it isn't a task you check off. It's how you live day to day, how you approach things, how you interact, how you respond when stuff gets hard. It's the mindset shift fully integrated. The core message is Be the most confident, powerful, and boldly capable version of you consistently. And a key practice here is visualizing that awesome, fearless, resilient version of yourself, really embodying that person when you need to, maybe before a tough conversation or a new challenge. It's about actively saying yes to opportunities, even scary ones, and creating your own moments instead of just waiting. And it loops back to that idea of continuous growth. They end with this powerful thought. Learning is a lifestyle, a way of being, a culture. It never really stops.
Wow. Okay, so putting it all together, the bold achievement method really feels like this comprehensive system. It's about making deliberate choices,
Yeah, intentional choices.
shifting your mindset fundamentally, and then taking consistent action across everything. It's about designing the life you actually want.
Exactly. And maybe, just to leave you with something to think about, have you heard of the musical Highway out in New Mexico on Route 66? It's this stretch of road where if you drive over these rumble strips at exactly 45 miles per hour, your tires play the tune of America the Beautiful.
Oh, wow. Really? I haven't heard of that.
Yeah. It only works at that precise speed, so it makes you wonder, right? In your own life, what's the speed? What's that specific level of intentionality, that calibration of your choices and actions that you need to hit to unlock your own unique music, the hidden potential in your journey?
That's a fantastic metaphor. What speed do you need to hit? So maybe reflect on that and think about which of these 6 BAM components really resonated with you today. Which one could you start applying even in a small way to play your own tune a bit more clearly?